Intro music begins, warm and inviting, with a hint of traditional Vietnamese folk instruments. Hello and welcome. Have you ever wondered about the stories behind the foods we eat during big celebrations? Today, we re-journeying back in time to ancient Vietnam to uncover the beautiful legend behind two iconic Lunar New Year dishes, Banh Cheng and Banh Day. This isn't just a story about food. It's a tale of wisdom, humility, and the very heart of Vietnamese culture. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into the legend of a king, his sons, and a divine dream. Our story begins a very, very long time ago, during the reign of the 6th H&G king. After many years of ruling, the king had grown old and new. It was time to choose a successor. He had many sons, all of them strong and capable, but he wanted to find the one who was truly worthy, the one who understood the soul of their land and their people. He needed a leader with not just strength, but also with a wise and compassionate heart. So the king devised a special challenge. He summoned all his princes to the royal court. The hall was filled with anticipation as the king stood before them, his voice echoing with authority. He announced, "My sons, the time has come for me to pass on the throne. To decide who will succeed me, I am setting a task for all of you. For the upcoming New Year celebration, each of you must prepare a special offering to honor our ancestors. Whoever brings me the most delicious and meaningful dish will prove their worthiness and inherit the kingdom." The moment the king finished speaking, a buzz of excitement and ambition filled the air. The princes immediately began to plot and plan. They saw this as a race for the ultimate prize, the throne. They dispatched their servants to the farthest corners of the kingdom, instructing them to find the most exotic and luxurious ingredients imaginable. One prince wanted the rarest bird from the highest mountain. Another sought the most prized fish from the deepest sea. They were all competing to create the most extravagant, over-the-top feast, believing that rarity and expense were the true measures of meaning and value. They were ready to spare no cost to win their father's favor. However, amidst all this frenzy, there was one prince who felt completely lost. This was Lang Liu, the youngest of the king's sons. Unlike his brothers, Lang Liu was a gentle and humble soul. He lived a simple life closer to the earth than to the opulence of the court. He wasn't a warrior or a cunning politician. His hands were more familiar with the soil of the rice paddies than with the hilt of a sword. He had no vast fortune, no powerful allies, and no access to the rare treasures his brothers were pursuing. As his brothers boasted about their grand plans, Lang Liu grew more and more despondent. He wandered through his modest home, his heart heavy with worry. How could he, with his limited means, possibly create an offering that could compete with the delicacies from the mountains and the seas? He felt his chance at the throne slipping away, not because he lacked love for his father or respect for his ancestors, but simply because he was poor. He deeply wanted to fulfill his father's wish, but he just didn't know how. One night, as Lang Liu lay asleep, weighed down by his troubles, he had a remarkable dream. A gentle, glowing figure appeared before him, radiating an aura of peace and wisdom. This divine being spoke to him in a soft, reassuring voice. "My child," the spirit said, "do not despair. Look around you, in all of heaven and on all of earth. What is the most precious thing? It is not the rarest gem or the most exotic beast. It is the humble grain of rice." The spirit continued, "Rice is the food that nourishes all people. It is the source of life, the gift of the land. It is what sustains your kingdom. Use this precious grain to create your offering. Make 2 types of cakes to honor your ancestors. Let one be round to represent the vast, endless sky. Let the other be square to represent the great, nurturing earth that we live upon." When Lang Liu awoke the next morning, the dream was still vivid in his mind. The spirit's words echoed in his heart, filling him with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. He finally understood. The most meaningful offering wasn't about extravagance or rarity. It was about gratitude for the fundamental things that sustain life. He immediately went to his small granary and gathered the finest glutinous rice, the same rice that fed him and his people every single day. He got to work with a renewed spirit. Following the divine instructions, he prepared 2 kinds of cakes. First, he took pristine white glutinous rice, pounded it into a fine, sticky dough, and molded it into smooth, round shapes. These perfectly circular cakes were to represent the sky. He named them B&H Day. They were simple, pure, and symbolized the endless heavens above. But for his second creation, the square cake, he took a large portion of glutinous rice and laid it out on green dong leaves. In the center, he placed a rich filling made of savory mung beans and tender, fatty pork, presenting the animals and plants nurtured by the earth. He carefully folded the leaves around the filling, creating a perfect green square package. This cake represented the earth, with all its abundance contained within. He named it B&H Cheng. He then gently steamed the cakes for hours until they were cooked to perfection, the aroma of rice and leaves filling his home. Finally, the day of the New Year celebration arrived. The royal court was a magnificent sight, filled with the most incredible dishes one could imagine. The princes proudly presented their offerings to the king. There were tables laden with roasted peacocks, shark fin soup, and countless other delicacies sourced from far and wide. Each prince stepped forward, explaining the great lengths they went to procure their dish, certain that their extravagance would win the throne. The king tasted each offering carefully, acknowledging the effort his sons had made. The dishes were delicious, certainly, but to the king, something felt missing. They were impressive, but they didn't speak to the heart. Then it was Lang Liu's turn. He approached the throne humbly, carrying his simple offering, a plate with a round white ban day and the square green ban cheng. His brothers couldn't help but snicker, whispering among themselves about his plain and common-looking cakes made from mere rice. But Lang Liu stood tall and explained his creation. "Father," he said, "my offering is made from the most valuable thing in our land, the rice grain that feeds our people. This round cake, B&H Day, represents the sky. This square cake, B&H Cheng, represents the earth, with the plants and animals held within. Together, they are a symbol of gratitude to heaven and earth, and to our ancestors who taught us how to cultivate the land." The king listened intently. He took a piece of B&H Day, then a piece of B&H Cheng. As he tasted them, a profound understanding dawned on him. The flavors were simple yet harmonious, comforting and deeply satisfying. But more than the taste, it was the meaning behind them that moved him to his core. Lang Liu hadn't tried to impress with rarity or expense. Instead, he had shown deep wisdom and gratitude. He understood that the true wealth of their kingdom lay not in exotic treasures, but in the soil, the rice, and the people who worked the land. He understood the very essence of what it meant to be a ruler who cared for his people and honored the foundations of their existence. The king's eyes filled with pride. He stood up and addressed the entire court. "All of my sons have brought impressive offerings," he declared, his voice resonating with emotion. "But only Lang Liu has truly understood my wish. His cakes are not only delicious, but they carry a profound meaning. He has honored our ancestors and shown gratitude for the gifts of heaven and earth, which are the source of all life and prosperity." The king then turned to Lang Liu and announced, "You, my son, are the most worthy. You will be my successor and the next king." Lang Liu was crowned, and he went on to rule with the same wisdom, humility, and compassion he had shown in his offering. And so the tradition was born. From that day forward, every Lunar New Year, known as Tit in Vietnam, families across the land prepare B&H, CHNG, and B&H Day. These cakes are placed on ancestral altars as a cherished offering, a way to show respect and gratitude for their ancestors and for the blessings of the past year. Making these cakes is often a family affair, a time for gathering, sharing stories, and passing down traditions from one generation to the next. The story of Lang Liu is retold, reminding everyone of the importance of humility, gratitude, and the preciousness of rice, the white gold of Vietnam. It's a beautiful reminder that the most meaningful things in life are often the simplest. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What are some of your favorite traditional stories? Until next time, stay curious.